About 35 years ago, I remember being at a lecture in New York City, and a dentist stood up called Dr. Hal Huggins and started to rant about the poisons we were putting in our mouth. Silver fillings, amalgam fillings. Boy, I couldn't wait to run to the men's room, open up my mouth, and look in the mirror. I was devastated. As a matter of fact, I had hardly any white left in my mouth. With all the candy and junk food I ate as a child, I had weekly visits to the dentist, and they used to take jackhammers to clear out all of the tooth and fill it up with mercury. Boy, was I devastated to find out now I was being poisoned on a daily basis, even when I slept at night, 24 hours a day. Oh my God, I was about ready to die. My second shock was when I found out how much it cost to remove mercury fillings and how few dentists at that point were able to do it and knew what they were doing. So of course, as you always begin new things, you fumble. And boy, did I fumble. I got into the chair of a dentist, and I won't name any names. It was in Boston, Massachusetts. And there I was. He looked just like Gene Shaler, the movie reviewer on NBC Today Show. And then in the middle of drilling my teeth, without a mask on me, without oxygen over me, so all the vapors could now be re-inhaled into my body, he said, "You know, I'm also a psychic." Then is when I knew that I was in the wrong hands at the wrong time. So all of those composites, that's what they fill your mercury fillings up with, or where the mercury fillings were, composites fell out within 3 years, and then I finally found a legitimate dentist. There's lots of legitimate dentists globally. And now to put a little bit of serious light on it. You can be poisoned literally to death if you don't remove mercury from your mouth. When this began in the mid-1800s, it was a really hard sell, and it took 2 or 3 generations of propaganda education at dental schools to convince dentists that it was safe. Oh, of course, we did research at some ominous university somewhere to use mercury. In my grandmom's generation, she was so frightened of mercury, when I would walk into the room as a young child, she would scream if a thermometer was in the room and warn me never to go over and touch it. So believe me, this was a nuclear waste of the 19th century. What happened is we were lulled into stupidity, thinking that some great thinker, intellectual, somewhere was protecting us. I'll tell you who was protecting somebody. It was the mercury industry being protected by the dental industry. And why this all happened back in the mid-1800s is they found out that the only people that could get dentistry were the people who could afford gold, 5% of the population. But at that point, the only way they knew to melt, that's what amalgams mean, put metals together and melt them, any of these metals was with mercury. Although it was deadly, it was a way to make a good money. And so they started off, and all at once, we've had our mouths filled with this deadly, deadly disease-causing element. Slowly but surely, remove these under the good hands and the guides of a great dentist who has a lot of experience. I always suggest seasoned dentistry. Somebody who did this 25, 35 years ago is much better than a newcomer who sees this as an opportunity to make a little bit more money by calling themselves an alternative or holistic dentist. We've seen cancer directly linked to this, multiple sclerosis symptomology, mental illness, attention deficit disorder. The list just goes on and on and on. Paralysis, and this is a serious problem today because all over the world this has happened. As a matter of fact, there are some more enlightened countries in the world in Scandinavia that has outlawed the use of amalgam fillings.